This is Michael Carson back with another video. This one is an article from Zero Hedge called "Are Foreigners Entitled to the Same Protest Rights as Natural American Citizens?" Well, and it's reference to Khalil, the guy that was arrested and deported, or he's going to be deported from the U.S., even though there was quite a fight. So let me just go ahead and read the article. One of the primary platforms of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign was the strict control of foreign elements entering into the United States. American voters overwhelmingly supported closed borders as well as the deportation of illegal migrants and disruptive migrant elements, including those that have received visas and green cards under the Biden administration. The political left, not surprisingly, has refused to accept that the majority view of the population as they continue to interfere with the migrant cleanup using whatever methods are at their disposal. The question of constitutional legality has often come up. The very same people who only a few years ago were trying to silence any and all dissent on the COVID mandates and vaccines are suddenly concerned with free speech rights of people who are not American citizens or those that are obtained green card status through convenient circumstances, marriage as a fast track for citizenship, for example. And there's a picture of the guy in a recent blow to their position. An immigration judge in Louisiana has ruled that the Trump administration can deport Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate student and legal permanent resident who was detained last month for his role in violent campus protests against the war in Gaza. I would like to add that he actually graduated from the university, so he wasn't actually a student anymore, but he was living on campus still. Judge Jamie Comins said the government had established clear and convincing evidence that he is removable, supporting the determination that Khalil poses a national security risk for the United States. Khalil was not charged with a specific crime. The video is just kind of a replay of what was done during the protests, so you don't really need to watch it. The leftist media maintains that the evidence against Khalil is shaky at best and that his green card obtained in 2024 after his marriage to a woman out of Flint, Michigan in 23 means he should have the same protest rights as any natural American citizen. Khalil is a Syrian-born Palestinian, which I don't know how that's possible, and should be noted that according to Amnesty International, protesters in Gaza are routinely arrested, tortured, executed by Hamas officials for crimes as minor as demanding that Hamas repair infrastructure or stop interfering with food deliveries. In other words, the very government that Mahmoud Khalil has defended would murder him without a second thought if he tried the same thing in Gaza. The hypocrisy of such immigrants fomenting unrest in the U.S. is clear, but not necessarily a violation of the law. In this video, I will play just a small clip of it to get the point across as to what's actually in the video.
Judge has just ruled that the Trump administration's effort to deport Mahmoud Khalil can move forward. Correspondent Brooke Taylor, live right near that courthouse in Jena, Louisiana. Tell us what the judge is saying in there, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. Yeah, this has been long anticipated and some major news. Just to first give you some perspective, we're down the street from that ICE detention center. The courtroom is inside of there. They didn't allow any phones or cameras. So we're finding out this information from our reporter who's over there down the street. She tells us As you just mentioned, the immigration judge has found Mahmoud Khalil removable. Khalil's attorneys have until April 23rd to file relief applications. I asked that reporter what the immigration judge was able to say. She cited those DHS papers and said that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, was able to meet that burden. And again,
Technically, it is true that green card holders and migrants in general have the same free speech rights as native-born Americans. This is why Khalil's deportation is subject to due process. However, just because an immigrant has free speech rights, it doesn't mean they can't be deported anyways. According to an Immigration and Naturalized and I'm going to reread that. According to an Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, the U.S. government has the right to preserve the sociological and cultural balance of the United States and deny any foreign entry to the U.S. based upon a migrant's political ideology. This means that the Trump administration does in fact have the power to remove foreigners, even those with green cards, if they are seen as ideological threat to the West. That is to say, migrants have free speech rights, but the federal government also has the right to kick them out. Is this contradictory? Maybe, but it's also a fact of life for anyone wanting access to U.S. soil. Democrats have claimed the law no longer has standing because it is 73 years old. Nope, doesn't work. The Bill of Rights is hundreds. The Bill of Rights is hundreds of years old, and the age of law is irrelevant. They also say the latter civil rights policies make the law obsolete. But is this really true? It was never removed from the books, so think about that. Maybe strict immigration laws are more important than ever in light of efforts by leftist politicians and NGOs working hand in hand to flood the U.S. with disruptive foreign elements, especially violent ones. The political left has been engaged in guerrilla warfare in which civil liberties are used as a shield to protect astroturf activism paid for by NGOs, along with deliberately destructive third world immigration. The strategy is classically Marxist. Use the rules of the opponent against them while you have no rules of your own. The Gaza protests are a large part of simply a convenient vehicle for a wider leftist disruption. The hilarious mixture of LGHTB feminists and race activists into the Palestinian plight showcase how the woke movement often rides the coattails of whatever issue is convenient in order to steal the spotlight for their own agenda. Is Mahmoud Khalil being made into an example as a warning to the political left? Probably. There is certainly the ongoing risk of slippery slope governmental overreach due to the deportation stop, with people like Mahmoud Khalil reportedly participating in high-profile disturbances, or will the power be used against people who merely engage in peaceful criticism? The idea that constitutional rights necessarily apply to everyone equally doesn't sit well with many Americans, but at this time in the U.S. history, a line in the sand when it comes to migrants is necessary. This is true. The bottom line is not every foreigner is entitled to U.S. access. Not every foreigner is entitled to the same rights as native-born American citizens. American society is not a lump of clay to be molded by any and all foreign activists that happen to come along. There are civilizational boundaries and rules of decorum, but a lot of people don't even follow those rules, especially when it comes to the R gangs in the UK. It's ridiculous. Immigrants should probably keep their heads down and remain thankful that they were allowed into the country at all. And that ends the article. If you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, and I thank you for watching, and have yourself a wonderful day. Again, thank you for watching. Please consider watching another video. Like and share so the videos get traction, and I appreciate it, and have yourself a wonderful day.